Ah, yes, the one that got away. That would be against Lajos Portisch from the Zurich Interzonal 1987. It was the best game I've ever been involved in, but I had a really good chance to win, and I ended up coming up short. But how about I show that one to you?
Ah, works.
It was a long and complicated game, but I'm going to just show part of it, like the really intense part where I missed my opportunity. Yeah?
Okay.
Okay, so we'll pick it up from this position here. This is already after 41 moves. Um, we've just made the first time control, and I'm playing black. Portish is on move, and here he actually slips up a little bit because if he should play bishop c2, not just attacking the rook, but also blocking this third level here. And after rook b2, then he can go e7, and he's threatening queen c4 check, followed by penetrating with the queen,
Right.
and he gets to me before I get to him. So that would have been winning, right? But he plays this move instead, e7 right away, and that gives me some opportunities. I take, and then look at that, disco check. Check with the rook, right? So if he goes back, then my queen can check him on diagonal again, and I get lots of play with my king and rook. So he did a really cool move. He went running with his king g4, and then I play queen c6. So this threatens to go queen f3 check, and then g5 mate. So he covers that by running with the king again. So that's the really cool part of this game on Portish's part, is that he these king maneuvers were really cool. But still I had a good shot. Okay, first I take the bishop, make a queen. He takes back, and this is where I have my real good opportunity. So I'm going to show you first what I should have done.
Okay.
Okay, and that's this move, king h7. I don't think I thought of this at all, you know. But now I'm threatening to check him with the pawn and keep him trapped in, right? Now, I think I rejected it because queen g4, he threatens mate. I think that's about as far as I went. But oh, the computers, they educate us on so many things. And probably the first 15 times I looked at this game, I didn't see anything. But as the computers got better, they found some stuff I could have done. So queen f3. Now, a couple possibilities here. All right, let's say white takes the queen. I'm not just offering an ordinary exchange. I'm getting this move in. All right. So now he's got to go back. If he runs to the middle, check this out. Mate. The king is
Wow.
stuck by the rook and the knight, right? Okay, so let's go back to that first check,
That's
pawn check.
pretty
All right,
impressive.
so he goes king h4, right? Takes, knight d6. So now he's attacking my rook. He's got that strong pass pawn, but I'm trying to mate him. What's going to happen first? h5. Quiet move. But if he takes my rook, king h6, now g5 mate is unstoppable. So he can't take the rook. Oops. So the best move for white is rook takes b4, and analysis shows that's really the only good move. He's got to get rid of that pawn. And now I can play the moves in somewhat different move order, but it doesn't really matter. This is what comes down. Knight d3, rook b1, king h6. Okay, so now I'm about to mate the guy with g5. If he checks me, so he's back. But now my king has moved from h7 to g7 with tempo, right? So my move, rook h8. So now I'm threatening to mate him in one move. If he makes a queen, g5, checkmate, gg. Thanks for playing. Looks like white is done for, but not exactly. Do you see a way out for white? Probably something you've never done in any of your games. No, sorry, not that one. That one.
What?
He makes a knight. Check. Yeah, sometimes you have to promote to get a check with a knight. So now if I go king h7, the other knight forks me on f7. So I go back, and now the position is probably winning for black, but it's a little complicated. He has a few things he can try. One move is knight takes f6, and he kills the mate, but there's still a couple pawns left on the board. I'm up in exchange. I think black can probably win. Okay, another possibility is knight e4. Then he sacrifices the knight like that, and I only have one pawn left. But the engine says that black should be able to consolidate and hold on to that pawn and eventually win. Then there's one last possibility after king f8. Knight f7. Cool move, huh? Wait a second, why can't I just take it? Well, if I take it, he goes check. And it doesn't matter where I go, his rook comes in. Check. And when I come up, he has this check. If I go back, he doesn't even have to take the rook. He can just come back. It's perpetual. I can't get out of the checks. It's pretty funny, right? This is knight f7, right? It's a genius move. Where is that? Knight f7. But I don't take it. I go rook h7. I spit on the knight, and now I'm threatening to take the knight, right? So let's say he moves the knight, and now rook d3 is good, but I can even just simply take, and he has to wait so that king h6 he can check he can go rook h8 and check my king away.
Wait.
So
Wait.
so I wait. I give some space. He waits. Check. And now I just simply win the ending. After f5, his pawn is pinned. Rook takes g4, check is coming. Two connected passed pawns. It's a trivial win. Yeah. So so it looks like in that variation that that I would be winning, but I'm going the wrong way. I'm going the wrong way. Okay, but king h7, queen g4, queen f3. Better move for white is rook b d1. Now it gets very interesting. g6 check. It's almost mate, right? King h4. Okay, now two possibilities. Let's say I take the queen. He takes back. Now if I take the knight, no good, because the e pawn is too strong. I don't have any tricks, so I can't take that knight. What I can do though is I can play knight d3. Now I'm threatening mate on the h file, so he's got to go stop it. Then okay, one possibility is I can go knight e5, and when he takes my rook, I go check. He goes back, I go check. King h4 check, 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 draw. Okay, so let's say instead of knight e5, let's say I take e7, trying to deflect his rook, right? Rook takes rook, rook h2.
Yep.
So he has to run up. He has to box in his king. And then here, it's hard to say what's going on. I'm a piece down, but his king is stuck on the side. The engine says it's actually kind of about equal. Kind of a weird line, right? But okay, let's go back to this position after rook d1, g6, king h4. Let's say I play the move knight b7. It doesn't look like a very aggressive move, but I'm stopping knight d6. Alright, but white does have a few things he can do. Alright, one variation is rook d7. Now I attack his queen. He's got to trade. Trade. g4, because otherwise his king is stuck over there. g5. He doesn't want to take that pawn because he'll get mate in the h file. And then probably he's going to trade his e pawn for my b pawn. And then I'll have 3 pawns against 2, which maybe I have a chance to win, maybe I can't win. I'm not really sure. But I have some winning chances, but it's not necessarily enough to win. Alright, so let's go back to this position, knight b7. The other line is really cool. Knight d4. Okay, now he's attacking a lot of things. Queen d5. So now I have, my main idea is I'm going to play pawn g5 check, and when he goes king h5, then a queen f7 is going to be mate. So knight e6. Check out this move. Boom. So if he plays knight takes queen, then when I take, he has to give up his queen. It's his only legal move. And then he's going to be pieced down. But he can do better. He doesn't take it with the knight. He takes it with the queen. And he runs. King h6, that nasty move again. So big threat, f5 check. So he has to make room.
Then he runs.
He runs. Now I need to clean that up, g4. And now I can finally take the pawn. And now I have a position where I have two extra pawns. But he goes knight g5. And it turns out that my king is now stuck on the side of the board. And whatever I do, he's going to get, a rook is going to penetrate, is going to get to the 7th or 8th rank, and he's going to have enough to at least get perpetual check. So the position zeroes out. Even though 2 pawns up, it's actually a position I'm not able to win. That would be very, very hard to foresee for either player over the board, but it turns out that white has a way out. So it seems that the move rook bd1 in this position after queen f3, rook bd1 is maybe good enough for a draw, whereas queen takes queen is probably a loss. But let's just say if I had actually seen all these tactics, which is kind of a miracle, that I probably would have won, because Portisch would have had to play, you know, like a superhuman genius, not just a human genius like he was, and still is.
Just casually looking ahead.
Yeah, it's totally crazy. This is totally crazy. But unfortunately, I didn't play king h7. I played kind of obviously. Pots are see it check, pots are give check. So I went check. Okay, so he goes king g6. And this is my brilliant idea. Rook d3 takes rook d5. Okay, so I gave him a piece, but I'm attacking his queen, and I'm threatening queen takes f5. So what can he do? He doesn't have that many choices. Where can he move his queen and not lose his knight? He's got to defend it on the diagonal, right? So where can he go to defend this on a diagonal with a queen? Queen c2. Yeah, he can play queen c2, but then I have a checkmate. Boom! Gold coins! Gold coins!
e6.
Hmm?
e6.
e6? What do you mean e6? He's mated. Yeah?
Not now.
Oh, e6. Okay, I'm not sure what you mean e6. So let's go back to this position. He can also play queen c8, because I can't take the queen because he makes a fresh queen. But still queen g3, same checkmate. So it looks like I'm a winner. I have to admit that when I got to this point, I actually saw that I wasn't winning, but I didn't have any idea that king h7 was a strong move. I didn't see any of that stuff. But he has a way out. He plays rook f1. He counterattacks my queen. So, yeah, it's kind of a sad story, but I still have a trick up my sleeve. I give up this rook here, and he has to take it, otherwise I get all my pieces back, and I'm probably mating him, so he takes. Now his king is stuck on the side, and I have rook takes e7. And this is almost working, actually, because I'm threatening to play rook e5 and win his queen. But he has time to chase my queen away. And this is a moment I really kind of kick myself for, because I kind of figured that I was lost here, and I just played for like one more trick. But if I played Queen B8, it's actually not so easy for White to win, even with an extra rook, because I have this idea Queen E8 check. Like you can't play Rook E1 because of Queen E8 check, and then um, this is a funny line: Rook B E1, Queen E8 check, Queen G6, and then I take the rook, and he can't play Queen G7 because it's pinned. He can take my queen, but I take back, or he can take my rook, but I take that. So suddenly I'm winning. Now he doesn't have to do that, but after Queen B8, I don't know. This various variations that sometimes come out to two rooks against a rook and three connected passed pawns, which I'm not really sure if that's winnable. Probably if you can trade rooks, it is. But anyway, I wish I had tried that. I could have stayed in the game. But I went for this move, Queen C3, Rook C1, Rook E5. This is my big idea. But the problem is he took my queen.
That's usually a problem.
Well, the problem was he had this move. He counterattacks my rook, and he actually threatens mate while he's at it. And this is... I'm going to have a lot of pawns, but there's just one rook on the board, no pieces for me. It's hopeless, so I had to give it up. That was just a few, that was just a span of like 10 moves in the game. I mean, the rest of the game was pretty amazing, but that's a little bit too much head spinning to put our viewers through. So I just went for that critical moment. The king was running all over, and I could have trapped him in, and there could have been under promotions to knights and whatnot. Really kind of totally crazy. But yeah, I wish I had found King H7.
Like half of these moves in the notation are king moves.
This,
The variation
there were a lot of king moves. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, his king was doing a lot of running, but he managed to survive. That's why he was one of the best players in the world, even still pretty strong in 1987. But I was glad I got my shot. Yeah, that was a pretty cool game. All right. In the future, I'll show you some more cool games. That's enough for today.